So today we're going to talk about pinching our dahlias. Now we do this to reduce the size of the main stem, because otherwise you end up with one broomstick sized thick stem with a single flower head atop. By pinching them, what we do is we divert the plant's energy and create multiple stems, multiple flower heads. They are much easier to arrange with and they give a better garden decoration display. But let me run a video for you now showing you what happens if you don't pinch your dahlias. Okay, I feel a bit like a bad parent, but I need to show you the importance of pinching out. So we have left this dahlia on purpose. So can you see when I said stems like broomsticks, this is what I mean by stems like broomsticks. You can see they're absolutely massive. So had you pinched them, they would have branched really low and you'd have stems like this which you can use. But when they're fat like that, there's really not much you can do with them, and then you end up with a very, very short stem because you have to cut the branches which are higher up. And then we've not disbudded or anything. So you find that the stems end up being quite short to there, where if you'd have disbudded and pinched your broomsticks out, you could have ended up with really, really long stems. So I thought I struggled last year to explain, so on purpose I've left a few plants and recorded it ready to explain properly. Now don't worry if your dahlias are not ready for pinching out just yet. The varieties, you can just see them over my shoulder there. I started them off a little earlier so that I would have examples, so I could do them for you ahead of time. I'll decapitate them on your behalf and then you can see what to do so you're ready when yours need pinching out. Let's be brave and let's select the biggest I've got here. We are going to be pinching out every single stem. Now, if you've never done this before, I can just see the look on your face now, and I do thoroughly recommend having a glass of wine while you do it. Just make sure you only have a little sip and watch your fingers. So we're going to cut the dahlia just above a set of leaves, and if you look very carefully, can you see the side shoots are actually already there. They're just dormant because the plant has got apical dominance, causing the growth to grow upwards. So by removing the top, you remove the apical dominance and the plant can divert its energy into waking up these side shoots. So I'm going to make sure that I use my best snips so that I cut the stem cleanly and I don't crush it. There we go. I'll take the stem out and you can see that it's hollow, which means that you can't take cuttings because it doesn't have any meristems, which is the magical hormones it needs for rooting. Generally, when you take a cutting, the roots will form from pre-existing meristems. So with a dahlia, you want to take cuttings from only solid pieces of tissue. They generally tend to be the closest to the tuber. So the closer you go to the tuber, the more chance that the stem is going to be solid, the more chance that there's going to be meristems present. You can sometimes get meristems in the top growth, in the nodes and in between the nodes, but the cuttings are a lot more difficult to take and a lot less successful. Basically, you're going to have to take an awful lot of cuttings for not nearly as much success. There we go, all pinched out. It does look very sorry for itself, so it might be a good time to show you an example of a dahlia that I pinched out just a couple of weeks ago, and you can see clearly the wound and then all the side shoots now starting to spring into life. So here comes some more examples for you of different varieties at different stages of growth. Right, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. There. And then this will start branching and it will be lovely, I promise. But because it's here, I can come back and show you. Another example here. This one's a bit more feeble, but I thought it might help somebody. So I can see I've got the first set of leaves down here, second set of leaves here. So I think that here is the perfect place to pinch this. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Look at this. This is our Saturday night. in the greenhouse. So I've got some that need pinching and some that I have pinched. So shall we start with the ones that we have pinched recently? So you can see, so this one we did not very long ago, and can you see where we have taken the middle stem out, the side shoots have started to wake up, and this is what we're trying to achieve. So this one I've only just done. By taking the middle stem out, what you're doing is these buds were always here, but they are dormant. But by removing the main stem, you take away the hormone that was in the main stem, and then these dormant buds will then wake up. And these ones here are much further along, so you can see the wound at the moment, but very soon that will disappear and you'll end up with a much bushier dahlia and not these big broomstick stems. So onto some that we're going to pinch out together now. Right, so we're just going to pinch them because they're in situ now, so I reckon about there is perfect. Ready? Done. There we go. So just in case you need reminding, this is what's going to happen. We've cut the stem off, and then these side shoots will wake up and we'll end up with more stems to come. Now, pinching dahlias when they're younger is not too nerve-wracking. However, when they get to this size, it can be a bit heartbreaking and very tempting to just nip out the very tip, hoping that will do it. But unfortunately, it won't branch all the way down to the base, and you'll end up creating a bit of a candelabra effect where you've still got the single stem further down, sitting atop will be the bushy growth. Now that can make the dahlia very unstable, and it can actually snap. I've done that before where I've knocked a very thick stem off. So my advice is to be brave now. We've got a very long growing season ahead of us, and cut the stem down so that you've only got a couple of sets of nodes left to branch, and then that will create you a nice stable plant ready for the rest of the season. So let's do this one together. Here's our stem. So it will branch quite happily. If I cut it here, these side shoots will wake up and the side shoots lower down will wake up. So I would recommend that you cut it there. There we go. That wasn't too bad. It's got plenty of foliage left to photosynthesize, but don't forget that dahlia tubers have got a food store in them as well. So they're very robust plants. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wow.